Okay, so today we are going to start with object-oriented programming in Python. So, what is object-oriented programming? In object-oriented programming, we try to break down our just a second. Someone wanted. Okay. So, object-oriented make us create classes and objects in our program. Okay, and with the help of object-oriented programming, complex problems can be solved by breaking them into smaller and manageable pieces. And Python, as you know, is very easy language. It's very simple language. So implementing object oriented is also very similar, yeah, very easy in Python. So the key concepts of object oriented programming are these: classes and objects, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Okay, so you might have studied these object oriented programming key concepts in any other language. Same will be applicable here. Syntaxes format may be little bit different, but basic concept is same. Okay, so we will see them one by one and then I'll show you implementation. So the first concept is class and object. So what is class? Class is a blueprint for creating objects. It defines set of attributes and methods. Right, inside class we define attributes and methods. Attributes are nothing but properties of class and methods are nothing but the functions which we define inside the class. Right, आपने पढ़ा है ये
Yes, ma'am.
ओके तो आप एग्जांपल दे सकते हो किसी क्लास का, क्लास में कैसे एट्रीब्यूट्स और मेथड्स होते हैं. Yes, can anyone give example of class? बोलो.
Class is user defined data type, ma'am.
Class is user defined data type, right? What are the advantages of class? कौन सी लैंग्वेज में पढ़ा है आपने इससे पहले ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग?
जावा में
Java में
क्लास में ऑब्जेक्ट डाटा का ऑब्जेक्ट बनाने के लिए हेल्प रहता है और क्या रहता है
Okay, they are the building blocks of object oriented programming, right? Why it is called as blueprint of object?
sorry ma'am, repeat करेंगे.
Why class is called as blueprint of object?
मैम क्योंकि यहाँ पे एनकैप्सुलेशन हो पाता है ऑब्जेक्ट.
Okay, so the class will include every detail of that particular entity. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हमने कार कंसिडर किया, ठीक है, तो कार के क्लास में क्या हो सकता है? एट्रीब्यूट्स हो सकते हैं, जैसे कौन से ईयर में बनाया गया है, विच मॉडल, राइट, कलर, देन फंक्शनैलिटीज. ओके, और उसमें फंक्शंस हो सकते हैं जैसे स्टार्ट इंजन, स्टॉप इंजन, हॉर्न, एक्सेट्रा, एक्सेलरेट. दिस कैन बी द फंक्शनैलिटीज. लेकिन जैसे जब आप क्लास बनाते हो, you just represent everything in the class, but actual value you have to assign at the time of creating objects. ओके तो जैसे कोई इफ यू आर प्लानिंग टू बिल्ड अ हाउस, तो वो जो प्लान होता है ऑन पेपर इट इज अ क्लास, एंड व्हेन यू एक्चुअली स्टार्ट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, व्हेन यू एक्चुअली स्टार्ट टू एग्जीक्यूट दैट प्लान इज कॉल्ड एज क्रिएटिंग ऑब्जेक्ट्स. ओके तो जब तक वो ब्लू मतलब क्लास is just a blueprint, it is just a prototype, but when you create objects of that class you assign the value, that means you allocate the memory. So जब आप क्लास बनाते हो तो कुछ मेमोरी allocate नहीं होता है, लेकिन जब आप ऑब्जेक्ट्स क्रिएट करते हो then memory gets allocated. Okay, so object is instance of class and it represent a specific entity with defined properties and behavior. So whatever properties and behaviors you define inside the class, they are specifically represented by object. That means you are specifically assigning values to all the properties, and you are giving parameters or whatever input data to the behaviors. Okay, or you are actually calling those functions behaviors. See, properties are nothing but the attributes of the class and behaviors are nothing but the functions of the class.
मैम दीपांशु का एक्सेप्ट कर लीजिए मैम.
Just a second. Okay. So in Python also you define a class using class keyword. How to define a class? You can see here. जैसे हमने यहाँ पे एक person class बनाया, class person, right? In other languages you give curly braces. So in Python obviously we are going to give colon. Okay. Now inside class we define properties and methods, right? So this init is a special method of the class. This is called as constructor. Okay, so in this class we have two methods. First is init, second is greet, right? So this init is nothing but the constructor. जैसे जावा में आप constructor कैसे create करते हो?
क्लास के नेम को.
क्लास के नेम से, राइट? लेकिन यहाँ पे पाइथन में जो कंस्ट्रक्टर है वो होता है init से. Just like function you have to define. Just a second, someone want to join. Okay, so in Python we define class using class keyword, sorry, class keyword, then class name. Here the class name is person, then colon. So whatever you want to define inside the class, that will be indented. तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो क्लास का जो इंडेंटेशन है, ये सब ये जो दो मेथड्स उसके अंदर हमने डिफाइन किए हैं उनको हमने इंडेंट किया है. That will specify that you are defining this method inside the class. Okay, so this def init first method you can see here is nothing but the constructor. Okay, instead of this we here in Python we use self keyword. Okay, and every method you will define inside class will have first parameter as self. Okay, so few things you have to remember about the class in Python. See here. Okay, I'll explain this class. This first method you okay, so this first method you see here is def underscore underscore init and again underscore underscore. This is called as constructor. Okay, so this constructor, in this constructor, first parameter is self. Okay, so every method inside class will have first parameter as self. Okay, this you have to keep in mind. जितने भी मेथड्स आप क्लास के अंदर डिफाइन करोगे उनका फर्स्ट पैरामीटर होगा सेल्फ, राइट. Then it has two more parameters, name and age, and inside this self dot name is equal to name, we are initializing the attribute. So whatever parameters we will pass while creating the object, those will be assigned to this name and age, right. Then second method we have in the same class is greet. Okay, so we don't want any parameters to this greet function or greet method. Still we have given one parameter, that is self. Okay, so every method, again I am telling, in the class will have a self parameter as its first parameter. Okay, and then we are printing here, hello, my name is self dot name and I am self dot age years old. Okay, now how to create objects? Simply you have to give object name. So here for example person1 is equal to class name and in brackets arguments. Okay, so Alice name 30 age we are passing. So when you will call person1 dot greet, it will print output like this, hello, my name is Alice and I am 30 years old. Okay, we'll see its execution. For now I am just explaining. Got it? How to create class and how to create object? Any doubt in this? समझ में आया बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट, क्लास कैसे क्रिएट करते हैं और ऑब्जेक्ट कैसे क्रिएट करते हैं पाइथन में?
अगेन मैम.
एक्सप्लेन करना है वापस? यस.
यस मैम.
Okay, so this is example of class. Name of the class is person. Inside person you can see here two methods, right? Which two methods are there? Tell me. How many methods are there? How many methods are there?
टू मेथड्स मैम.
Two methods, right? First is init, second is greet, right? So every class in Python will have this init function. Okay, and it will be executed when class is being initiated or when you will create object of class, that init method will be executed. So every class in Python will have this init method. Okay, first. Second thing, whenever you define any method in inside class, first parameter of that method is self. Okay, every time. That's why you can see here for init also the first parameter is self and for greet also first parameter is self. Okay, so this is the class person with two methods. How to create object? Just give name of the class equal to name of the object equal to name of the class in bracket whatever parameter you want to pass. Okay, तो यहाँ पे init के लिए आपने जो भी parameter send किए हैं name and age, that we are passing from here. ठीक है, and then person1 dot greet, we are just calling the function, so it will print this message. So inside this message we have written self dot name, so it will take this name, and self dot age, it will take age, whatever age and name we are passing to this constructor. Got it? So we use this init function to assign values to all object properties that you want to define. आया समझ में?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now next
जी
we
मैम.
have encapsulation. So as you know, encapsulation is concept of wrapping up the data or encapsulate the data of class. So data of class is nothing but the attributes and methods, right? Properties and methods. So we are wrapping up that data which we are going to use to operate on the data into a single unit or class. Okay, so when we encapsulate inside class, we encapsulate all the properties and methods related to that class, and that concept is nothing but the encapsulation. So it will restrict direct access to some of the object or components, which is means of preventing accidental interference and misuse of the data. So the data which is private, you can make some of the data inside class, you can make it private, right? And why do we make data private? Because we don't want to disclose its value, we don't want anyone else to, or any other class to access its value, right? That's why we make it private. So encapsulation in Python can be achieved by making attribute private using double underscore prefix. Okay, now how to make data private in Python? By using double underscore. Okay, this is double underscore symbol. So double underscore will make your data private, your attribute private. Okay, let's see one example here. So now you can see same class we have person, okay, with same two methods init and grid. So init is like a constructor, and we have given same arguments self, name and age. Now in previous example we have directly assigned the value. Okay, now in front of name we are giving two underscore. So when you specify two underscores, that particular attribute becomes private. So here self dot underscore underscore name equal to name, and self dot underscore underscore age is equal to age. Okay, now in previous example we have accessed this name and age from the method. Okay, now we are trying to access same variables inside the method, but what will happen, we can create the object, but when we'll call this method it will give some error. Okay, so accessing private attributes directly will raise an attribute error. In same class I think it will not give error, we will check. Okay, if we directly call them it will raise some error, but now we are using it inside the function, so it may give output. Okay, we will check. Now for here you just understand the concept of encapsulation. So in Python, to make variables private, to make attributes private, we have to use double underscore. ठीक है, तो इसके variations हम check करेंगे. We'll execute this program. Then next concept we have is inheritance. So inheritance is mechanism which allows us to reuse the class, right? So where a new class which is called as derived class or child class inherit the existing class. Okay, that existing class is called as base class or parent class. So this allows for code reuse and the creation of hierarchical relationships between the classes. Just a second. इनहेरिटेंस का यूज क्या है? We can reuse the code. So if you want to reuse properties of parent class in child class, you can inherit it. Okay, now how to achieve inheritance? Here is example given. Suppose we have an animal class. Okay, now inside animal we have two methods, init and speak. Okay, so init is mandatory. You can see here for every class. Okay, so inside animal we have defined init and the parameter name we are passing to this init. Then we are initializing that parameter inside this, and then we have one more method, that is speak. Okay, inside speak we haven't written anything because we are going to inherit this class. So here the first class, that is dog, which is inheriting animal. Okay, so class dog in bracket animal, this is how we inherit the class. Okay, and inside that we are redefining the speak. Okay, so speak we are inheriting and redefine किया हमने कैसे क्या किया इसमें. So class name is dog and we are returning its voice here. Just like that we can create one more class which is derived from animal. So cat in bracket animal, and again we are here redefining the same method. This is called as overriding. Okay, same method from parent class we are redefining in the child classes. Okay, and definition we are giving different messages. Okay, now how to create objects of inherited classes? Just like it is similar, give class object name equal to class name, and in bracket we are giving some name. Okay, because our parent class has a init method. Okay, and that init method requires name, so you have to create, while creating object you have to give that name here, right? Same for cat, you have to give name. Okay, no need to define this init for child class. Keep in mind that here we have three classes, animal, dog and cat. Okay, constructor cannot be overridden. So कंस्ट्रक्टर आप सिर्फ एनिमल के लिए डिफाइन करोगे, उसमें जो कुछ भी आपको प्रॉपर्टीज लगती है वो आप इनिशियलाइज करोगे, एंड देन वॉट एवर मेथड यू वांट यू कैन डिफाइन इनसाइड इट, और वो ऑटोमेटिकली चाइल्ड क्लास में आ जाएगी. लेकिन अगर आपको रीडिफाइन करनी है, उसमें चेंज करना है, तो यू कैन रीडिफाइन इट इनसाइड द चाइल्ड क्लास. गॉट इट? आया समझ में? Yes, is it clear?
clear, ma'am.
Okay. Then next we have polymorphism. So polymorphism allows object of different classes to be treated as objects of common superclass, and when one class takes multiple forms we call it as a polymorphism. So it is ability to redefine methods in derived class and handle different data types with single interface. So for polymorphism we use interfaces. Polymorphism allows methods to be reused interchangeably across different classes. Okay, let us see the example. जैसे हमारे पास एक क्लास है bird. Inside bird we have a speak method. Inside fish we have a speak method. Okay, and now how polymorphism is used? we are creating here the instances of the class. So same speak method we are overriding. And then, okay, this is just for loop to print the output of these function calls. Okay, so dog with some name we have created an instance. जो पहले वाला हमारा dog class था, from that we have used here that instance. Again we have used class instance, then we have created bird instance and fish instance. Okay, we'll try this, then you will understand. And the next key concept of object oriented programming is abstraction. So what is abstraction? Abstraction means hiding the complex or hiding the confidential implementation of the class and showing only essential features. So in Python, abstraction can be achieved using abstract based classes. Okay. Okay, basic concept समझ में आया तो हम implementation देखते हैं. Is it clear to all the key concepts of object-oriented programming? I am going little bit fast because I know you have already studied these concepts. That's why I am not repeating it. Is it clear?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. तो हम कुछ क्लासेस बना के ये सारे की कॉन्सेप्ट्स इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं. ठीक है. स्क्रीन विजिबल है?
Visible, ma'am.
Okay, so first we will create a class person. So class person. Okay, then colon, give indentation. If you are using VS Code, it will automatically appear. Then define a constructor def, then define init method. Okay, so double underscore init. Okay, so if you press enter, that structure will automatically appear, but we want some parameters in this, name and age. Then inside this self dot name, जैसे आप दिस लिखते थे वैसे पाइथन में सेल्फ लिखना है. ठीक है, नेम एंड सेल्फ डॉट age equal to age. We'll define one more method here, def greet self, then print hello, my name my name is self dot name and my age is self dot age. Okay, ये क्या हो गया? Class, that is blueprint. Now what we have to do? We have to create, to use this class we have to create a object. So I'll create first object person1 is equal to person, and in bracket we can give name and then specify some age. Okay, this will just initialize these variables. Now I want to print this message. So for that I have to call that method using object names. Object name dot method name. Okay, now let's execute this. So here you can see the message has been printed. Okay, now in the same class let's make, ये क्या हो गया? Classes and object. Okay, class and object. Now for encapsulation, if you want to make some fields private, you just have to give underscore. Okay, तो उसका कलर भी चेंज हो जाता है, तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि these are the private members of the class. So now this name and age are private members of the class. Okay, we'll try to access them inside this method. I think they will get accessed. No, it's different error. Here also we have to access is using double space. Okay, I will execute this. Okay, it is giving because that method is also inside the class. But now if I separately use it outside, जैसे person1 dot name. Okay, if I am trying to access those variables using object name, but now those variables are private. Okay, I'm trying to print it outside the class, so print person1 underscore underscore name. Okay, now let's check if they are accessible or not. Okay, so message is printed, but now you can see person object has no attribute name. Why? Because we have made it private, so we cannot access. अगर हम यहाँ से अंडरस्कोर निकाल देंगे, that means, okay, so you can see here that message is also printed, and after that we have printed person1 dot name, so that is also printed. Got it? Private कैसे बनाना है?
इसमें
ओके, नेक्स्ट हमने क्या देखा था? इनकैप्सुलेशन के बाद इनहेरिटेंस. ओके, इनहेरिटेंस हम एक ट्राई करके देखते हैं. इनहेरिटेंस के लिए हमें क्लास डिफाइन करेंगे, व्हीकल. ओके, I'll comment out this. यहाँ पे हमें क्लास डिफाइन करते हैं, क्लास vehicle. Okay, then inside that we'll define init Here we'll give some parameters: make, model and year. Okay, again inside this constructor what we'll do, self dot make is equal to make, then self dot model is equal to model and self dot year is equal to year. ओके, ये हो गया कंस्ट्रक्टर. Then one more function will define here, display. Okay, give only one parameter, that is self, to this display method. Inside display method we will return self dot year. ओके, क्या करते हैं, इसको फॉर्मेट कर लेते हैं. In a string we'll format self dot year. Then self dot make and self dot model. Okay, we are returning this string from this display function. Now if I want to inherit this class, जैसे I want a class car which is derived from vehicle, तो कैसे करना है, class car in bracket vehicle, right? This is how we inherit the class. Okay, now I want one more attribute in this. Okay, so if you want more attributes we can redefine this. क्या करेंगे हम यहाँ पे, इसमें और एक एट्रीब्यूट ऐड कर लेंगे, जैसे नंबर ऑफ डोर्स. ओके, बाकी जो एट्रीब्यूट्स है वो हम पेरेंट क्लास से लेंगे, इसलिए सुपर डॉट इनिट, और इसके अंदर हम मेक देन मॉडल एंड ईयर वो एज इट इज लेंगे सुपर क्लास से. और इस क्लास का, कार क्लास का सिर्फ कौन सा है, नम डोर्स, तो वो हम इसमें इनिशियलाइज करेंगे, सेल्फ डॉट num doors is equal to num doors. Okay, now we will override this function, display function. display function में along with this हमें क्या देना है, नंबर ऑफ डोर्स भी प्रिंट करने हैं. ठीक है, तो वो हम कैसे करेंगे, अगेन वी विल override that display method. ओके, तो बाय डिफॉल्ट इसमें क्या गया, सुपर डॉट डिस्प्ले. तो सुपर डॉट डिस्प्ले क्या कर रहा है, ईयर मेक एंड मॉडल प्रिंट कर रहा है. उसके साथ हमें क्या प्रिंट करना है, नंबर ऑफ डोर्स. ठीक है, अगेन विल यूज फॉर्मेटेड स्ट्रिंग. इसको हम कर्ली ब्रैकेट में डाल देंगे, विथ self dot numDoors। ठीक है, ये हो गया इनहेरिटेड क्लास और चाइल्ड क्लास। एनी डाउट टिल नाउ?
नो मैम।
वैसे ही अगर मुझे सेम व्हीकल से एक मोटरसाइकिल का क्लास बनाना है तो कैसे बनाएंगे, आप बताओ। क्लास
मोटर
मोटरसाइकिल ब्रैकेट राइट। Then again I want some different attribute for this। फिर से हम कंस्ट्रक्टर डिफाइन करेंगे init, राइट। इसमें सेल्फ आया, मेक, मॉडल, ईयर, ये तो आया, लेकिन इसके साथ मुझे क्या चाहिए, लेट्स से टाइप ऑफ मोटरसाइकिल। सो I'll define that attribute here। ओके, तो इसमें super dot init ये तो आया by default। now what I have to do here, self dot type motorcycle is equal to type motorcycle। Similarly we can define display method for this। so if I say if def display, so it is already returning display method of parent class। ठीक है, इसमें हम टाइप भी प्रिंट करेंगे मोटरसाइकिल का। ओके, सुपर डॉट डिस्प्ले विथ टाइप सेल्फ डॉट टाइप मोटरसाइकिल। okay, so we have one parent class, that is vehicle। we have inherited two child class from that vehicle, one is car, second is motorcycle। okay, now we'll create objects। okay, तो पहले हम कार का एक ऑब्जेक्ट बनाते हैं, जैसे car1 is equal to car। okay, how many parameters we need to give here? कार के लिए कितने पैरामीटर्स देने पड़ेंगे? see this is car class, ये कार है, कितने पैरामीटर्स देने पड़ेंगे मुझे कार क्लास के लिए? कार क्लास इनहेरिट कर रहा है व्हीकल को, तो व्हीकल के 3 पैरामीटर्स प्लस कार का 1 पैरामीटर, राइट। देन मेक, देन मॉडल, जैसे ईयर एंड नंबर ऑफ डोर्स। गॉट इट। वैसे ही अगर मुझे मोटरसाइकिल का बनाना है, मोटरसाइकिल 1 इज इक्वल टू मोटरसाइकिल, इसको कितने लगेंगे पैरामीटर्स? सेम 4, लेकिन फोर्थ पैरामीटर जो होगा वो डिफरेंट होगा, राइट। और फोर्थ पैरामीटर क्या है? टाइप। तो यहाँ पे हम दे सकते हैं कुछ भी टाइप, जैसे स्पोर्ट बाइक, स्पोर्ट मोटरसाइकिल। ओके, एंड नाउ वी कैन कॉल डिस्प्ले फंक्शन। तो कार का भी डिस्प्ले फंक्शन हम कॉल कर सकते हैं, car1 डॉट डिस्प्ले। लेकिन डिस्प्ले क्या कर रहा है? सिर्फ रिटर्न कर रहा है, ठीक। तो हमें ये प्रिंट करना पड़ेगा, प्रिंट car1 डॉट डिस्प्ले एंड प्रिंट motorcycle1 dot display, sorry, display is a function, so we have to give round brackets. आया समझ में? नाउ हम एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं क्लास.
जी मैम.
जस्ट अ सेकेंड. कुछ तो कौन सा इनिट में प्रॉब्लम? सुपर डॉट इनिट. ओके, कॉल करते हैं. Super object but receiver str bit. car here and do. Just wait. ओके, ये मोटरसाइकिल का तो डिस्प्ले हो रहा है, लेकिन कार में कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम हुआ है. क्या हुआ है? समझ में आ रहा है आपको?
जी मैम, समझ रहा हूँ.
मोटरसाइकिल और कार का तो सेम ही किया हमने. सेल नेट मॉडल ईयर एंड नंबर्स. अच्छा, यहाँ पे ब्रैकेट्स नहीं दिए थे. ओके, नाउ इट विल गेट एक्सेप्टेड. ठीक है, स्मॉल मिस्टेक था. समझ में आया इनहेरिटेंस?
यस मैम.
ओके, सो
यस
आज
मैम,
के
समझ.
लिए हम रुकते हैं. वी विल कंटिन्यू इन द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर. जस्ट
थैंक यू
वेट
मैम.
फॉर अ सेकेंड, मुझे एक स्क्रीनशॉट निकालने दो. प्रेजेंट कितने हैं? वेट. हाँ, Okay, thank you.
थैंक यू मैम।
Thank you, ma'am.